This tutorial will show you how to manage your existing or even create new queries. Let me go ahead and log in here. All your queries are actually managed within your library similar to a data set. Let me go ahead and create a new query and show you how to save and manage it. So let's say, for example, if I were to choose on a data set such as adverse event and then create a query. So for example, let's say I select the adverse event term within that data set to be equal to anxiety. In that case, when I click OK, when it applies this query, it's going to subset the data to only include the observations with the word anxiety. Now, if I wanted to save that, I can go ahead and click on this Manage Query button down here, and it will allow me to give a name. These are previous saved queries that I've done. So let me go ahead and create a new name here. So let's say I'm going to call this new one the AE terms or something, and then click on the new button here. So what this will do is it's going to retain this name called AE terms and associate it with the selections that I've applied, which is what is shown here in terms of AE term. If I were to go back to Manage Query and select one of my older queries, Study ID, and then apply that, that would actually bring up another query that I've applied where I said that Study ID must be equal to 01. So that's how you would change or go back to a previous query. For example, AE query here, apply that. It's going to go back to my selection of the AE equaling to anxiety. Now in this case, I've only had one criteria, so it's not that meaningful, but if I were to create a complex query with lots of different selections, lots of different values, the management and saving and ability to go back to where I was is very important. I can always clear it at any time with this clear button and then go back to the Manage Query and select one of those, for example, the AE terms, and apply it, and it brings back. Now, in addition to managing it here and applying the query, if you were to go back to the main SAS data management screen here and scroll down, you will see icons appear. These icons represent SAS data sets, but these with the letter Q, as you can see here, let me go ahead and zoom in a little bit so it might be easier to see. So when I zoom in, the icon zoom, but the text is still small. But as you can see, the icon with the letter Q represents the query that's associated. So if I click on the AE, the adverse event query that I called AE term, some of its criteria, conditions, and when it was created and everything is captured here. But that's how I can go back and manage those queries. In the same way, let me go ahead and go back to where I was. You can also go back to the query screen here and delete an existing query. Sorry, let me go back to where I was. I was back to the AE dataset and apply a query. And I can manage a query. Now, in addition to creating new ones, you can apply updates to it if you have changed it, or you can click on this delete button. It asks for confirmation, but once deleted, that specific query that was saved before would no longer be shown.